So what is DAX used for? In a word, calculations. It is used to create two types of calculations: calculated columns and calculated measures. Calculated columns is when you want to add new columns to a table and calculate further results. But if possible, add your calculated columns before you import your data into Power BI because you'll get better data compression. But then that's also used to calculate measures. Now these are aggregate values. They're percentages or ratios, and they're dynamic, and you'll see that as we walk along. So here, for example, is just a bit of a rundown on the differences between calculated columns and calculated measures. The results of calculated columns are immediately viewable in a table, and they can be used by filters and slices in your pivot tables. They also update whenever the data is refreshed, but they do take up more space. As you can imagine, if you're adding more columns to a table to calculate further results, that's going to impact the size of your Power BI file or your Excel file. And therefore that's going to have a degrading effect on the performance of that file. And calculated columns are not dynamic, whereas the measures are not stored in the table. So they're therefore not impacting the size of the table. They can't be used by filters or slices though. They generally are just used to give you a result that you can then use as a value, typically in a pivot table. They are dynamic and they already have filters applied. They don't take up a lot of space. So the DAX language is used to create two types of calculations: calculated columns and calculated measures. And as I've explained, there's quite a few differences between the two. So what we're going to do is walk through creating calculated columns and creating calculated measures using the DAX language.